Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for WLBT Plus. My name is Kara Shirley, your digital news desk host, and it is Wednesday, halfway through the week, and we are on the very last day of April the 30th, going into May tomorrow. Uh, I say it all the time, but it's very true. Time just seems to be going by faster and faster. If you're joining us today on our website or on our digital news app. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have to adjust my volume here a little bit for you guys. All right. But if you're tuning in on our mobile app or our website, thank you so much. And if you're tuning in on any of our streaming platform or our social streaming platforms, Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, we appreciate you watching there as well. Don't forget, you can always leave comments, questions, thoughts, suggestions, anything like that in the comment section on our social stream. Like I always say, ask you to be nice, but it's free country. You can say what you want to say. So, but if you are watching on our social streams, let me know where you're tuning in from, because I like to know where you guys are watching from. Simple as that. No hidden agenda behind it. I just like to know. So let me know where you are tuning in from. Before we jump into the news today, let's go ahead and take a look outside, as we do almost every day over one of our sky cams. We're actually going to be looking out over Raymond right now. I always say this as well. This is one of the shots that kind of makes me a little queasy because I'm afraid of heights, but it is still pretty nonetheless. We do have cloudy skies out there. There is some blue, and it is very warm temperatures out there. We're going to be looking more at the forecast in just a little bit. So, keep it tuned in. And then, of course, at 2:30 today, our First Alert weather team will be in here to give you a more in-depth look at the forecast because there is rain expected tomorrow and Friday and Saturday, unfortunately. So you want to make sure you're listening to the meteorologist to get those details on the timing of the rain. Let's go ahead and jump into the news now. Story that we broke yesterday. We have exclusive video, but say almost 40-year-old crime finally had an arrest made in it yesterday. And of course, that is the case of Chandra May. It's a cold case, happened, almost 4 decades ago. And we captured the moment that the suspect in that murder was arrested yesterday, 63-year-old Reuben Weeks. Now, we were there when he was taken into custody. So he was led by Scott County Sheriff Mike Lee. Law enforcement officers converged on the RV where Weeks has been living in Madison County. He did not resist, as he was informed that he was being charged with the kidnapping, rape, and murder of Chandra May. Investigators do believe that he is the man who abducted Chandra as she was driving home from work in Forest back in February of 1986. Her body was found 3 weeks after she went missing on what would have been her 18th birthday near Bolton, as she was found nude and bound with tape. Sheriff Lee says that after reinvestigating the case and finding new witnesses to testify, he determined that there was enough evidence to take Weeks into custody. And we're going to hear from the sheriff now.
The ability to gather more information on the case, the ability of agencies working together, ourselves and the Mississippi Highway Patrol. Without all those resources, we would never get to where we are today, and of course, making an arrest.
So Chandra May's brother, Tim, says that he is relieved that the day has finally come, even though sadly neither of his parents lived long enough to see this happen. 3 on Your Side will, of course, continue to follow this story as Weeks makes his way through the justice system. We will be right there and bringing you the updates. And like we said, just continuing to follow the story. Now we're going to go to Ridgeland, where there were 4 subjects, including a juvenile, were taken into custody for allegedly breaking into vehicles at multiple apartment complexes over in Ridgeland. So, according to the Ridgeland Police Department, officers were notified that suspicious suspects were breaking into numerous vehicles at an apartment complex on William Boulevard on April the 21st. This is what happened around 11:45 at night. So, officers responded to the scene and located 4 subjects who were actively burglarizing a vehicle. 2 of them were detained at the scene. Another engaged in a foot pursuit. He was captured later that day. And these are the 3 individuals on your on your screen, rather. They've been identified as Brian Jamal Davis, age 18, Braden Pierre Betha, age 18. And there was also a 13-year-old who was arrested, and that their identity, of course, has been withheld because they're being a juvenile. So the next day, around 10:30 p.m., Ridgeland police officers were on a routine patrol when they were actually near Pear Orchard Apartments when they saw a subject wearing a ski mask peeking into apartment windows. They made contact with the individual. They identified him as Omar Alfonso Solana, age 18. They discovered that he was also in possession of burglary tools and determined after a further investigation that he was accompanied by the other teens during the crimes that were committed on the 21st. Again, here is their pictures. Davis, Bethia, and the juvenile were charged with multiple counts of auto burglaries. So Lionel was placed in custody and charged with possession of burglary tools and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. They were transported to the Madison County Detention Center, where they are awaiting initial appearance before the Ridgeland Municipal Court judge, and the juvenile was released to his guardians. And of course, don't have any additional information on the juvenile, but we'll bring you the updates on the other individuals in this as we receive them. Looking here at our comment section, we have Pat Brown saying good afternoon. Hello to you as well, Pat. Good afternoon. Richard is tuning in from St. Louis. We have Ollie tuning in from Virginia. And Annie is watching from Ridgeland, and Clarissa, am I saying that name? Miss Clarissa is watching from South Jackson. Appreciate all of you for tuning in on this Wednesday. So appreciate you all watching with me. Here we go. I Heart Scene right here in Jackson. So anyway, appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Well, we're going to bring it back to Jackson, talking about some news that happened here. So Jackson's next mayor and city council members are not going to be getting any pay raises, or not going to be getting a pay raise anytime soon. So for weeks, the council had been considering implementing pay raises that would go into effect at the start of the next 4-year term. And so they wouldn't get those raises. And right now, they would wait until the next term began. However, a provision, let me get this pulled up for you, a provision and a state statute prohibits council members from approving raises less than 90 days before a municipal election. So under that ordinance, council salaries would, or under the ordinance that they were looking at, council salaries would have increased from $25,000 to $35,000 a year. The mayor's pay would have gone up to $170,000 a year, which would have been a $50,000 increase. And these raises, if they would have happened, if they would have been able to go into effect, would have been the first raises for city council or the mayor to happen since 2001. Of course, now it will not be happening anytime soon because, like we said, the provision in the state statute prohibits the raises from being approved less than 90 days before a municipal election. And some Jackson City departments are going to have to very closely monitor overtime spending over the next several months. As of March 31st, 4 departments have already exceeded more than 50% of their overtime budgets, and that's including the Jackson Police Department. And the city is currently only halfway through their fiscal year. So records show JPD has gone through 74% of its $1,052,000 budget, and that leaves only about $272,000 to carry the department through September the 30th. So they are reaching their budget limits. Can the city council go back in and increase the budget? Will they attempt to do that? We're, of course, going to follow that and let you know about it. And over in Canton, a mayor or a candidate for the mayor of Canton is asking for a closer look to be taken at ballot boxes from the Democratic primary runoff. So Camilla Walker submitted her petition to the Democratic Executive Committee on yesterday. She claims that 3,000 residents who'd been annexed into the city were not placed on the voter rolls, so they could not participate in the runoff. So she narrowly lost the runoff to Alderman Tim Taylor, who got just over 50% of the vote to Walker's 49%. The city's Democratic Executive Committee certified those results yesterday afternoon, and after hearing Walker's concerns, the committee will allow Walker and a representative to inspect and canvass the ballot boxes Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock at the Canton City Hall. So while they have certified the results, there will be a pause, I guess, and announcing who has actually won until that review and inspection can be made. And of course, we're going to continue following that, bringing you all of the info on that. Our Chris Fields is one that covers the Canton a lot for us, and he is keeping up to date on that so that we can keep you up to date on that. Looking here again at our comment section, a lot of you guys, Miss Sandra's tuning in, saying good afternoon. Hey, Miss Sandra. Chris, good afternoon to you. Jacqueline is tuning in from Durant. And let's see, Jeffrey is tuning in from Ocean Springs down there on the coast. Hello, Buddy here is in Philadelphia. Kay is in Canton, and Elizabeth tuning in from Ridgeland. Like I always say, I appreciate all of you guys for tuning in and letting me know where you're watching from. Because like I said, I just like to know. No ulterior motive behind it. I just like to know. So we're going to go go to Byram now, where traffic is up and running again on Terry Road after a car accident happened on the bridge on Monday morning. So here on your screen now is pictures of the scene Monday morning after a 68-year-old woman hit the concrete railing on the passenger side, causing her vehicle to roll over. So according to Byram Police Chief David Arrington, she was transported to UMMC with minor injuries. Byram Mayor Richard Wright says the bridge was reopened around 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning after city engineers deemed it safe.
We had people come out, the engineers come out and check the bridge because we wanted to make sure it'd be safe for us to continue to run on. And by the way, it was built in the 39ers, so it's a great bridge, but they said it was safe, and we got a letter from the engineers, and we're on go. It's just one of those accidents, and I'm glad the lady's alive and everything's good.
So Mayor White says that he will speak to the engineers to get the damaged areas of the bridge fixed there. And a federal inspection began at the Hinds County Detention Center yesterday, Tuesday, even though county officials did try to stop it from happening. They claimed that the inspection would cost too much money. So U.S. District Judge Carlton Reeves overruled those objections days ago, saying the scheduled visit would be the first truly independent on-site assessment conducted at the Raymond Detention Center in years. So the last full inspection took place nearly 3 years ago. The visit comes less than a week after a detainee was found dead in his cell. Hinds County Sheriff Tyree Jones and Hinds County Board President Robert Graham both declined to comment on the monitor's visit. Governor Reeves put the detention center under federal receivership in 2022, a decision that was affirmed by the Fifth Circuit. So Reeves and the county are still trying to decide the boundaries of this takeover. We don't have any, like I said, they declined to comment. We don't have info on the inspection yet, but we will get it to you when it comes in. Miss Denise Jones here is tuning in Flowwood, and Miss Catherine, I see you all the time here, but Miss Catherine is tuning in from San Diego. Hello, Miss Catherine. How's the weather over there in San Diego? It's a little warm here. We're going to be looking at the weather here in just a moment, but first we're going to hear from our sponsor over at Jackson Water.
Time for a neighborly tip from Jackson Water. Is it okay to pour fats, oils, and greases down the drain if I run hot water?
No!
What if I run the garbage disposal?
No!
How about if I use dish soap at the same time?
No!
Instead, hang on to a few containers to store and toss old cooking fat and grease once you're done. Jackson Water. Water for all the time.
And again, thanks to Jackson Water for sponsoring WLBT Plus. We do appreciate them enabling us to bring you this content every day, every weekday at 1 o'clock, as well as other things that we are going to be bringing to you very soon. Let's go ahead and look at our temperatures outside right now. Like I said, it is very warm out there. Very warm. Kind of, if you compare it to summertime here in Mississippi, it's not very warm, but it's very warm based on what it has been. So we're looking in the mid 80s here across our viewing area. And if we look at our radar, you can see there is not really any rain in the area, except for down there in Wilkinson County, the very bottom edge of it. There's a little spot of rain, but nothing widespread. If we look over the next 12 hours, you can see we aren't expecting any rain as we drop down into the mid 70s overnight. However, tomorrow we are expecting rain, 70% chance of rain tomorrow, 60% on Friday, 40% on Saturday. Our temperatures are going to stay about the same as we move into next week. And according to a meteorologist here, Chase, that I heard from earlier today, he says that on Sunday, it is going to be great. Low humidity, great temperatures, lots of sunshine. So if we can make it through the next 3 days of rain, we're going to have a great day on Sunday. But again, you want to be here at 2:30 today to hear from others in our First Alert weather team so that you can get those details on the rain tomorrow. Are we expecting any severe weather? And what is the timing of the rain coming through? You want to hear from the meteorologists themselves so that they can give you the information on that. Again, 2:30 today. So right now we are going to hear or see from, not see from, we're going to take a look at the series that we've been doing on fighting the blight here in the city of Jackson, and hear from a resident here. So, of course, we've told you about this. I've told you about this every week. It's a year-long series that we are doing where we are going out and looking at different blighted areas and communities within the city and just trying to bring a light to them so that hopefully some positive change forward can happen and make Jackson not only more aesthetically pleasing, but when you clean up the blighted areas, it helps to bring in industry, bring in more people. More people means more money into the city, and that's something that the city of Jackson needs. So we spoke with a woman who has lived on Oakmont Drive here in Jackson for nearly 40 years, and says she is now surrounded by burned and vacant homes, conditions that she says are making life there unbearable. The Tracy Cooper says the eyesores in her neighborhood have been ignored for way too long. This map here, Where's the map at? I didn't pull the map in. I apologize for that. But it did show at least 4 dilapidated properties that she's talking about. Of course, the video here we have shows that. So handling blight can be very frustrating for taxpayers here in our area. And Cooper and her sister, who also lives there on Oakmont, say they've reached out to the city repeatedly to try and get help, but have gotten no response. So she's counted 7 neglected houses in her neighborhood over the last few years. And as a result, she says they're forced to deal with snakes, rats, vagrants, and other issues.
If these are your properties, please come clean them up. I have grandkids, and I don't like them to come out due to the overgrowth and the critters that are about.
So the city has cases open on 4 structures in that area. One is awaiting a demolition bid. Another is owned by the state. Another had a contract but will need to be rebid. And the 4th has just been tested for a possible presence of asbestos. So if you are in an area in Jackson that has a blighted area, there is a way that you can let us know about it if you would like for us to cover it in our series, Fight the Blight. So if you go to our website, Wlbt.com, you can see here at the top of the page where it says Fight the Blight. If you click on that, it brings you to this page where there is a form that you can fill out, and you can let us know all about the property. You can let us know how it is bringing down the neighborhood, and really just inform us of it. We will contact you if it is something that we can do a story on. And like I said, hopefully bring a positive change forward to the city of Jackson by highlighting these different areas. Again, go to the website, WLBT.com, and we report on Fight the Blight every Tuesday. I do it on Wednesdays here on my show, but you can catch it in our newscast on Tuesday evenings, and of course on Wednesday morning as well with our morning website. So Miss Catherine is saying that it's weather over there in San Diego is in the mid 60s. And that's a pretty good temperature, pretty nice temperature. Sunshine there, but not hot yet. Thanks, Miss Catherine. It is sunshine and hot here. So enjoy those mid 60s over there while you have them. Before we end out the day today, I want to share a very, a funny video that came from, of all places, Alabama, where a kangaroo temporarily shut down a highway there. So this happened near Tuskegee on I-85, Interstate I-85 over there. So the kangaroo did cause a 2-vehicle crash, but thankfully the kangaroo was not hurt. This is video there of the kangaroo, something you'd never think you would see in Alabama, right? So state police did end up shooting and tranquilizing the kangaroo, and the kangaroo's owner did end up taking her home. Auburn University's College of Veterinary Medicine checked out the kangaroo, gave her a clean bill of health, but I could just imagine being one of those people sitting in the car on a interstate in Alabama and seeing a kangaroo hopping down the road. That had to have been a crazy sight to see in person. It was crazy enough to see in video, probably even more crazier to see in person. Well, that is going to be it for me today here for WLBT Plus. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And again, 2:30 today, our First Alert weather team will be here to give you details on the forecast and the rain, what we can expect tomorrow as far as timing, severity, if there is a chance of severity, anything like that. So you want to make sure you are here to tune in to our meteorologist 2:30 today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Get a chance to get outside and enjoy some of the sunshine, get some vitamin D in before the clouds and rain come in. I will see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.